Well, hello and welcome to the Get Local podcast. Thank you so much for joining us again today. As always, I'm JoAnne Fowler, your host, and I am so excited to be in the 864 Sound studio here in Greenville, South Carolina. And we have a special guest with us today. We have Cari Ray. I feel like she's a superstar, so I'm excited to have a superstar in our studio today. So, Cari, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for our guests who are so faithful and join us each week, our listeners. So we're excited about that. Well, Cari, you are one of those women-owned businesses that I like to bring into the studio and talk a little bit about your business. So thank you again for coming in today.
Yes, definitely. I'm excited about it. I'm excited for this opportunity to reach more people and obviously share more about women-owned businesses, especially right now while everybody's shopping.
That's right. Everybody's shopping. Well, I'm going to tell you, I went to your website, as I always do, and I was so inspired for how you got started. So I know everybody may not go to your website right away. So can you take a few moments and tell us a little bit about, how you got started? Who is Cari Ray Paints?
So it's funny because I had an ad pop up in my feed. You know how they'll get you. And it was like, everybody tells you your whole life if you're stressed out to exercise. And that's just not me. And this one said, if you're really stressed out, sometimes art can be a really good avenue to relieve some stress. And, you should think about taking this painting class. And I was like, I don't know how to paint. I'm only painting my houses from my kids' crafts, But I was like, it can't hurt as bad as exercise, right?
Right.
And so I took the class and I immediately just became obsessed. And it's funny because I posted things thinking, it's hard to do, but it's at least worth something to me. And people just loved it. And I was like, well, maybe I'm actually good at it too, So it's kind of an accidental, now I'm in a business position,
Wow.
Yeah.
Now tell us, I saw in your story how you got started. So you started painting and then what happened?
I started posting the paintings and people started wanting to buy them. And then a lady reached out and asked me to be in her gallery right in downtown Rock Hill. And that's not a thing that happens. You go to galleries normally, which I didn't know that, but people told me. And then I had a lady reach out from Belle Magazine, which is a women-owned business here too, and wanted to feature me. And then a lady asked me to get in her storefront. And then another gallery reached out and it just started snowballing. And so I was like, okay, so I still, have my issues with imposter syndrome, but I thought somebody is appreciating this stuff. So I just started selling it, and donating. I donate a lot. Every time there's a gala or something for like a breast cancer awareness or anything like that around here, I donate a big painting for their auctions.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
So you're giving back to the community
You
too.
100% have to. Like, I feel like God blessed this endeavor every single step of the way. And even in the Belle Magazine article, she's like, what's one thing you want people to know? I said, I want people to know that this is all God blessed, that this is not me, and that anytime somebody says, hey, is there any way you could help us out with this or whatever? I'm like, yes, absolutely, because he helped me out. So you pay it forward,
Pay it forward. I agree with that. And I think so many of the local businesses and entrepreneurs who come in, they always say that, they always say, look, this is what I've received and I want to help the next person along their journey, right?
Yes.
So I think that's fantastic. So now, obviously, you just started painting and all of a sudden your portraits began to sell, right?
Yeah.
So were you an artist as a child?
No, so my dad is an artist, and so I always kind of would doodle, like you see a Garfield cartoon and you draw Garfield. I never created anything of my own. I did learn to do the hand-lettered calligraphy online when that was a phase, because I'm like a serialpreneur, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that. So I made some ornaments one year, but just to draw and create something out of my own mind, I had never done that. And so this was all brand new. And so when people liked it, I was like, are you sure? Are we sure we like it? Still think that today sometimes.
But it's not like a parent who says, oh, that's gorgeous. People actually paid you for it.
Right.
So that means they really liked it, Cari.
Right. At first I'm like, well, maybe it's because I have a lot of friends and I'm kind, and they're just going to hang it in their closet.
Yeah. But, when you have an art gallery call you.
I know.
I mean, that means you're really good.
That's what I keep saying. I'm trying.
You're trying.
I'm trying to get there.
So now tell us, you have courses online. So
do.
you were so excited about what happened to you that you decided to help other people jumpstart their painting business, right?
Well, so right now it's really big online to have a course if you know how something has blessed you or that you could help other people. So I thought, okay, in 60 days, I made over $5,000 selling paintings by accident. I didn't have a website yet, nothing. I was just like, this is something I made. And people are like, can I buy it? And I was like, I'm okay. And I don't give things to auctions and things like that for this reason, but every single time I do, somebody else, multiple people will buy another painting. So
Wow.
I don't give for that reason, but it helps. So it's not like I'm upset about it. But so I just thought, if I can go in 60 days from not knowing how to do anything with regard to painting, framing, getting in a gallery, anything, to making over $6,000, like, other people can too. And so, yeah, I built the course out with a friend of mine. She helped me because that was an all new platform for me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to call it Amateur to Earning Artist. And if people don't really want to use it to do the earning part, you don't have to, you can skip the marketing parts. But I did. And I thought, why not share that with other people? Because it's not like we're going to give away all of our blessings. God's going to go, well, that was all I had for you. So,
Right.
So,
Well, I'll tell you the thing that I always heard growing up was the starving artist. You would see the artist up in New York on the sidewalk trying to sell their artwork, and nobody would ever buy it. And here you are, you're just painting and people are buying your artwork. So, I mean, I think you've got a skill that definitely you could share with everybody. So do you teach people how to paint, or you just teach them how to sell their paintings?
So we do 2 botanical paintings in the course, and then we do the marketing part, because I did pay for a class that was called the $1 Million Course, and it was telling you how to build a course and then how to market it. And so in that, she was talking about how you have to use 30 hashtags, and you have to use the ones that are trending the most. And so this is how you find those. And I was like, these things are pretty key. People need to know this. And a lot of people don't know that, And so I thought, even just these little teeny nuggets got my paintings in some algorithm in front of people that wanted to spend some money on art, So why not share that with other people?
So your fame to success, you think, or your path to success really started with showing it to people, right? So you painted, and then you just kind of showed it to friends and family.
Yeah.
And then from there you went to events.
Yeah. So I've done a couple of events, but for the most part, the people that are buying from me are either buying it from a gallery, which that one gallery that reached out really was a little bit of the way that I was propelled. And it was actually a realtor group too, Reinhardt in Rock Hill. And it was the art on the corner downtown. And the fact that they reached out to me, like their curator, and I even saw the curator name in the email, and I was like, this person knows what art is supposed to look, you know what I mean? So I was like, wow, that's astonishing. But so they either buy it from there. Like, I haven't done a retail thing on my website yet. I hadn't had to. I think at the end of March, I have a whole ton of paintings coming out of several galleries and restaurants and things like that. I think I'll have to have some kind of a retail storefront for a minute, or otherwise we're not going to have any space in our house. But for now, it's just been a couple of events and galleries and just people buying from online on my Facebook and stuff.
So did you start with, so how did the curator find you? Was it on Facebook? Did you post
It was
a
on
picture?
Instagram. I didn't have any ads running. I ran ads after I did my course, and I didn't get anything back from them. So I found that the organic way that I did it worked fine. And I tell people that, like, don't spend the money if you don't have to spend the money. Try it this way first. And it may be that you have to, but he found me. He said, I had York County artists, local York County artist hashtags, and the people that found me from Bell Magazine found me from the hashtags, that Greenville. So you got to find the ones in your area that people are following the most, and it'll be by the millions and sometimes billions. You just never know, but you figure it out. And there's a program or an Excel spreadsheet that I just put in there, and I'm like, let's use the 30 top ones.
Wow.
And then they find you.
Yeah. So. Are you using AI? That's so popular now.
I haven't done that yet. I sort of want to try it. I did it just for some funny stuff, like to show my husband like what you can build recipes and stuff. But I haven't done that yet for my paintings. But I've heard that you can go on and ask it to describe your paintings, and I'm really scared and excited to do that.
Maybe it's going to have your friends and family's interpretation of how great it is, right?
Right. You got to hope. You got to hope it's not like, this is a first grader's report, which I don't know. Some of the stuff I see from these first graders better than anything I could do.
Well, look, if Hunter Biden can sell his portraits for millions of dollars, they say, looks like a first grader. You should be. I'm looking at some of your artwork. It should be selling for a lot of money. So I think your course pricing was amazing. I wasn't sure what all it entailed, but I love to dabble a little bit in painting. I am definitely not an artist, but who knows? Maybe I'll take your class and I'm selling my artwork as well, right?
You might. You really might. And there's a mini course on there now. It's only like $19, and it's less of the marketing stuff. So if you're not interested into really getting into that in depth on that piece, the painting stuff is just it's really easy. And if somebody just shows you how to use the tools and which ones go with what, because I found out the hard way. A lot of things don't mix. And a lot of things are water soluble and you don't know until you've ruined an entire painting. You know, there's just little things that I found out from that class I took, you know.
Well, I took one class one time and it was really funny because, the artist stood up and she painted for us. She kind of led the group. It was a group of us.
Right.
And then we tried to duplicate her painting.
Yeah.
And the one thing that she told me, and I'll always remember this, is she said, you know what, the best thing you can do is if you go home and you hate it, is paint the whole thing white and start over.
Start over.
And I thought that was the greatest
Yes.
bit of advice that made me feel comfortable painting, because I was like, you know what, it's not a forever painting for me.
It's not.
So I can go home and start all over again.
I've wondered so many times since I took that course and painted over so many things, like the Mona Lisa. How many layers are on that?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Right.
something like that. It didn't happen the very first time he picked up his
I just
brush.
can't imagine.
I
I mean,
paint over
maybe,
it.
maybe he was
Maybe.
talented, but I thought that was pretty cool. So people who are listening to us today, tell me, do you want people to contact you to buy your artwork? Do you want people to go check out your classes, or a little bit of both?
I mean, a little bit of both. And so, like I said, I don't have a retail storefront, so you can just follow me at Cari Ray Paints. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and I always post whenever I get a painting finished. And I have a ton of them at the Cartwright Food Hall. We have a gallery, or like an artist reception tonight. I have 9 there. And there's one at a new restaurant called Coop's Corner in Greenville. They're just like kind of everywhere. So if you follow me on Facebook and Instagram, you'll see where all they are. And then the courses, obviously the mini courses like popped up on CariRayPaints.com right now. So if you go on that website, I built my website, so don't laugh at it. I'm not
It looks
that person.
great. It looked good. I was on your site. So what's the difference between the mini course and the regular course?
The regular course would have more of the marketing. So if somebody said, I really just want to learn how to paint to, fill some of my free time and to relieve some stress, because it really, doing things with your hand moves your brain, and the chemicals in your brain, physiologically things change and you go to a better space where you're not worrying. And I'm not the smartest person about that, but I do know it works. And so you go and do something with your hands or whatever. So the mini course would be plenty for you if that's all you want to do. But if you think afterwards, I'd really like to figure out how she started selling these, then the other course has got more of that in there.
Now, I've heard a lot of autistic children, they like them to paint.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Art therapy is a huge thing. There's now there's like I can't remember what they call it, some kind of a neuro art thing, but it's a specific type of art that people are doing that is really proven to create new neural pathways for people. So I'm thinking, art can do all of these things for you, and you can have beautiful things in your home or beautiful gifts to give people or whatever. So why not, dive in?
Yeah. Now, can you duplicate your own work? So if you do a piece and someone else says, "Oh, I want that piece," everything is a one of a kind.
So I actually had a lady from Boston order 3 paintings from me based on one that I painted for my friend, and this was 5 months ago. I haven't done it yet. I cannot figure out how I did it, and I just keep apologizing to her. And she's like, "It's okay. I'm not in a rush." And I'm like, "I just don't know," because one of the things I would say is don't take a commission until you're really good. Because right now, if somebody orders a commission from me, it stresses me out. And then I send them pictures of it and they're like, "Oh, that's nice." And I'm like, "But is it complete?" And so it's really stressful. So I say way down the line, when you're really into your own and you know what your style is, then take them. But yeah, I can't to this day duplicate that painting. She wanted 3 like it, and I have no idea how I did it. So.
Oh my gosh. But I think that's pretty cool that it's a one of a kind.
Yeah.
So I know if I'm hanging a Cari Ray picture in my home, portrait in my
it'd
home,
be
it's
hard to
yours.
duplicate,
Yeah,
yeah.
nobody else is going to have one hanging in their house, right?
Right. And it might not be done the right way. And like an actual artist with training might be like, that doesn't go that way. But if people like it, to me, that's the success,
Well, why do you think there's so many pictures when you go into, a store to buy? If you walk into a store that sells photos, there's millions of them all along the wall.
Yeah.
And the reason why they have millions is because everybody's taste is different.
They
right?
are. They're
and
so
so
different.
It's kind of like, something you like might not work well in my home.
Right.
It might not be my color scheme.
Right.
My style.
Yeah.
But, that's
I've
great.
found even right now, my home is sort of that shabby chic farm country type thing, and none of my paintings go. So they're either in my studio where I'm painting, or we're just having to sell them. And so until I can get a space that they are suited to, it'd be like, a sign that says "eat" and "gather," and then something this abstract, and it just doesn't go.
Now, do you find I'm a little bit of a OCD kind of person. So when I start a hobby, I buy, every single product that goes with that hobby.
You
And then
better
all of a
believe
sudden I
it.
got a room full. So, I mean, do you
Yes, you
find
better help.
yourself that way with paint?
Yes. And we both talked about going between two towns. So both of my studios are full of the exact same materials because for a while I was carrying it back and forth. But the more I did, like you said, bought every kind of paint that you could buy, gouache, watercolor, oil, acrylic, all of it. It was too much to carry back and forth. So now I order two. And so, yeah, and I feel like hopefully I stick with this for a long time and it's something that I, get my money's worth out of it. But otherwise, there's going to be a Goodwill with a whole entire palette of paint one day.
Now, do you have any children?
I do. I have a 29-year-old son and an 11-year-old son.
So they'll decide whether they want to carry on mom's tradition. Either of them painters?
No, they're not. My son did really do a great job painting a trout, and the older one, and then the younger one, he did like an abstract football painting for his dad, and I helped him along with that. But neither one of them are like, I'd really just love to do this, and I would love it if they did. And what scares me is thinking about the fact like I may pass on one day and they'll be like, I don't know what to do with all these paintings, like, aren't they something for you?
Well, hopefully there's so much money in them, they're not going to donate those to Goodwill. Maybe the paint and the brushes, but your photos are like going out for sale. They're going to be like, we're rich because of mom's paintings.
Yes, speak it.
Well, for those of you who are listening, I don't think we actually said it, but Cari is in both Rock Hill part-time and in Greenville. So you guys need to look for her in both of those locations for sure. So one of the things I like to do, Cari, is on our podcast is we want to talk about your business. And, at the end, I want to talk about how people can reach out and get in touch with you. But what I really like to do at the last part of the show is really encourage those entrepreneurs who are out there. And you are definitely an encourager with the courses that you're creating and, the way that you're telling people, hey, you can do what I've done.
You can.
But, if you had someone out there who's really kind of struggling right now and they're saying, gosh, I've been doing this for 3 years and mine hasn't blown up. I'm ready to quit. I'm just going to throw the towel in. What would you say to those people?
Well, I would say, like, for one, don't give up because you never know. The breakthrough might be God's plan was the next day and you stopped and you didn't give him that opportunity. So you never know because your breakthrough might be right around the corner and then you give it all up and you missed it. So I'm always ready for that to happen, for it to be that suddenly I do blow up and I am famous, and I always speak it because God says you speak it, and like you believe it. And so I would tell them not to give up at all because you never know. And then also don't be like one of those people that waits until they feel ready to do the next big thing because you need to do it really scared of it and really thinking this may not happen, but believe it anyway. Like don't wait until the day you feel like, okay, now I'm ready, because that day may never come. So I did it not ready. I own another company with somebody else, and I'm busy, and my life is a lot of chaos and a lot of stress sometimes. And I was like, I don't have time to pick up a hobby. So if I would have waited, I would have never known that it's actually something that's really good for me financially and mentally. And, it's allowed me to share a lot with a lot of nonprofit organizations and things like that. So I didn't wait till I was ready. I did it thinking, I have no idea how I'm going to fit this in. I have no idea how this is going to come to fruition, but I did it anyway. Scared, worried about it. And then it just happened.
So you had success pretty quick, but I mean, have you had obstacles in your journey that you wanted to quit that you've overcome?
So I will say my biggest obstacle, it almost makes me cry saying it, so I'm going to try not to, but my biggest obstacle and roadblock is me, because I'm like, there's no way that this is that good. It's because I have a lot of friends. It's because people like me. It's because I'm kind. And they're probably going to stick it in their closet or their bathroom or something, and they're just going to make me feel good or whatever. And when the gallery reached out, I was like, the guy that owns the Reinhardt Realty in Rock Hill, like, lives down the road from me. He's probably just being kind. And then when Belle Magazine reached out, I'm like, she probably just knows I have a lot of friends in Greenville. Like, I gave everything a reason why it would be, except that I was talented. And so it's really hard. Like, it's one of those things that I'll speak it over and over until one day I believe it. I am an artist. I am an artist, So I've been my biggest obstacle, and a lot of people won't share their art for the exact same reason. And I'd say just share it. Because, like you said, there's going to be some that are going to be your style, and there's going to be some that are my style, and there's going to be some that we both might look at and go, oh, I don't really get it.
Yeah.
But somebody buys that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, look at the Hunter Biden. Everybody makes fun of, they said it looks like third grade work, but people paid millions of dollars for that artwork.
Absolutely.
So, just because you don't think it's worthy doesn't mean it's
Right.
not.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely put it out there.
Yes.
I mean, I
Yes.
know I don't want to do portraits because I draw stick people.
So like we're not going to go that way. We're
no
going to
one's
go abstract.
no one's gonna buy my stick people, so I'm gonna
Right.
do something different for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's important too with art. There's all these different kinds of art. So
Yes.
you may do portraits, or you may do abstract. I mean,
Yeah.
there's different types of art.
Oh,
So,
sure. My husband's ex-wife and I are good friends, Heather, and her dad is an artist, and he's a realistic painter. So these like houses and cars, and he said, "I don't know how you do it." And I said, "I don't know how you do it because nobody can look at my painting and say that doesn't really look like a." We don't know what it's supposed to look like, do you? So you can't say that.
Right.
But if somebody said paint my car and I got the wheel wrong, then I got it wrong.
Right.
But you can't say I got it wrong. What do you
'Cause it's your
know?
own picture.
I don't even know what it was supposed to look like.
Well, show our guest
Okay.
and tell us a little bit about what you did and what you used. You've got a couple of
Yep. These are both acrylic paint and then some acrylic ink. And they're both just sort of, I did this one while I was teaching an online Zoom class. They're both just sort of, let's just make a messy background and then drop some ink and paint all around until I like the way the colors go together and the composition comes together. And they say art is never finished. It's just abandoned. So this is where I abandoned these two. But yeah, so this one is sold. I'm actually delivering it tomorrow. And
That's beautiful.
yeah, so just
So
a
what?
little
So
simple
what if you're
ones.
not good at mixing colors? I mean, do you just learn that as you go along the way?
So it's funny you should say that because I'm not really into the mixing of the colors yet, but I took a course from Betty Franks and I'm going to start trying to mix my own. So it's like there are so many colors out there now that only like a top tier artist or curator would know that you're using all stock colors. There's just so many.
Yes.
But I took a class and I am going to start mixing my own colors because that's when people do start saying, "Oh, that's a Cari Ray original," because they see the colors that you came up with and then it becomes something that's familiar. So all of these are 100% just stock right out of the bottle or whatever, but there's so many of them that like I said, somebody super talented and artsy would be like, yeah, those are all kind of just stock colors, nothing special. But everybody's got to start somewhere.
But if you're not an artist, to me, I'm saying, oh, I love all the colors in
Right, right out of the bottle.
right out of the bottle.
Yep.
But it was right out of the bottle in your creation.
Right, sure.
And nobody else is going to have that creation.
Right,
Or
I
nobody else
couldn't.
may mix all those colors together that you mixed, right?
Right, yeah.
Put them on the same canvas.
Yes.
So are you painting on canvas or
So
are
I
these...
am now. And it's funny because in the beginning, I have a lady that I met through one of the groups with the course we took. And both of us started in April. And we both were like, I will never paint on a canvas. That is insane. That's giant. No way I'm doing that. And now we're both like, I can't believe we ever painted on a 9x12 piece of paper. It's like, you just kind of have to get warmed up to it,
Now, what about your course? Would your course be good for kids or is it really more of an adult course?
So I think that the painting, just the skills would 100% be fine. And then the marketing piece, obviously you could skip over, but it's all about, this is how you use the brushes. This is what the brush should look like. If you want it to be like a straight line, or if you want to do this kind of a stroke, you'll use this brush. So it's all going to be readily absorbed by any age. It wouldn't be as much fun, but now you just gave me an idea. And I feel like I should give you a piece of this, but I don't see a lot of kids painting courses online.
Yeah. Well, my granddaughter has always, and my grandson, I have two grandchildren who are very artistic. And so I have tried to encourage that throughout their childhood.
Yeah.
So every time they come to my house, one of the things that I do is we always go to the store and they get a new color of paint. And so I have all of these bottles of paint, hundreds of them, and they get a bottle of paint and a new brush.
Nice.
So they get all these different fancy brushes that I'm looking at the price and I'm going, this is ridiculous
It
for a
is.
paintbrush. But
It is.
and then I have both paper and canvas for them, and I'll
I
just tell
love
them,
that.
I've got some. I pulled some out the other day. My granddaughter is 13, and I pulled it out the other day, and I said, I've got some of your pictures that you painted when you were 5, and she was like, Mimi, you kept those? I was like, yes,
Oh,
because
forever.
they'll be my forever. And when you get older, I've got the age and the date and
Yes.
everything written on the back. So I mean, some of them are just blobs of paint, all colors mixed
That's
together.
okay.
But,
Those are precious.
but kids, I think you would be amazed if you did a kids program.
I'm just saying, I feel like I should have to share a percentage of that with you because I'm going to do it. There's zero question. I have the platform. And, honestly, with the kids, those are core memories. So when I do get either my 29-year-old or my 11-year-old to paint with me, those are things that long after we're gone, long after they even know where those paintings are, they'll be like, oh, me and my grandmother, or me and my mom, or whatever.
Yeah.
Those are core memories. It's so art brings people together in so many ways. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And I think since COVID, I really stick to that. Since COVID, so many people are struggling, emotionally, and, kids today don't really talk on the telephone.
That's right.
And so I think this is a great way for kids to communicate and to get their feelings
100%,
out.
yes.
So yeah, you need to think about that.
Yes.
All right. So tell me, if people want to follow you, and we've showed them some of your artwork, how can people reach out to you if they want to get your information?
Okay. Yes. So you spell my name Cari. So it's Cari Ray Paints, and it's all one word on Instagram and on Facebook. Or you can just follow me on my regular Facebook too. It's Cari Ray. So Cari and then Ray. And then my website is cariraypaints.com. So I'm on TikTok, but I'm not really that familiar yet. So it's going to be a little bit, dicey for a little bit. But people say that's really where you're going to get some more buyers. So I'm going to have to probably delve into that a little more.
Yeah, I'm telling you, TikTok is huge. I also own a women's boutique, and I have a whole section on my website, my clothing boutique, that says TikTok approved, because
Good.
younger people are buying all of their clothes. They're doing everything off of TikTok. So I think your stuff would really blow up on TikTok for sure.
love
Try
it.
that out. I think that's important.
Okay.
All right. So y'all need to follow Cari. And then the other thing I wanted to tell y'all is talk a little bit about Get Local. Get Local is, we feature all these local hidden gems in the upstate. So I hope you guys will reach out to me if you are a business owner and you'd like to be featured. We also have all kinds of resources available for small local businesses, from coaching to courses. We do corporate training. We'd love to come out and feature. We'd love to come out and help you, but also feature you on our podcast. I also want to talk a little bit about 864 Sound. We love them. You guys need to reach out to them. Brandon Higginbotham is the owner, and 864 Sound has original music production, sound design, voiceovers, podcasting, audio repair, mixing and mastering, and live sound. You've got to come check out the studio. You guys need to reach out to them. They're on Facebook, and you can always call Brandon at 864-414-5560. So we just love Brandon and 864 Sound. Cari, I am so excited that you came today. I love your artwork. I may have to buy that piece that you hadn't sold yet. Hang it up in my home. But we are so thankful that you came today. We're looking forward to the next podcast. Thank you guys for following us.
Thank you.
Please watch on all of your favorite podcast outlets. And then also we have YouTube videos, so you can watch us there as well. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.